Hey everyone, believe it or not, I consider myself fortunate to have tried this Rekon Race a couple of years back because you know what? This is a perfect trail tire for around here. I use this as a rear with more aggressive front, but if you were to buy one of these today, you are gonna find that they exist in 2.4 WT or wide trail together with the sister ASPEN 2.4 WT. These two are used today as cross-country race tires. Let's check them out. You know, when Nino decided to go for wider tires, I assume Maxxis just jumped up high and they came up with these two. I believe that they are built on the same casing. They were launched at the same time. They're both 2.4 WT or wide trail, which require wider rims, anywhere between 25 and 30 millimeter wide. Both of these tires use the dual compound. They use the EXO and they're tubeless ready, 120 TPI on both, and semi-slick is mentioned here on the Rekon Race. Interesting, the ASPEN says low profile cross-country tire and not semi-slick. These tires are made in Taiwan and you can see the specifics of them. They are recommended for hard pack and loose over hard. Cornering control on the Rekon Race is a 2-pointer and the ASPEN is considered to be a better cornering tire. So I would keep that in mind, as I've never tried ASPEN up front. And while ASPEN doesn't have a beefier cousin in the Maxxis lineup, Rekon Race is the racier version of Rekon that exists in multiple sizes and triple compound. As you see, this MAXXIS 2.4, something that doesn't exist on this Rekon. It doesn't have that yellow line that warns you about tire clearance. Not all cross-country race bikes will have ample tire clearance, so I'm wondering who insisted on having that line on a set of tires from Maxxis. Anyhow, if you want to see installation instructions, they're right here at the bottom. Scan that QR code, it's going to take you to the Maxxis site. But these tires are big volume tires, and Maxxis has never been known for their light tires. Schwalbe was good for that. This ASPEN 2.4 WT is supposed to be 721 grams, and to my surprise is 712. Rekon Race is supposed to be 759 grams, and it's coming up to 761, within 2 grams of the specified weight. And just for comparison, this Rekon 2.4 is supposed to be 840 grams, and here it is 819 grams. So I'm quite impressed and happy with my findings. Great job, Maxxis. The old 235 was supposed to be 710 grams. It was actually close to 750. That's only about 10 grams difference from the 2.4, the new 2.4. But the big difference here is in the WT or the wide trail casing. And while the old Rekon is installed on this Stans Arch MK3, so 26 millimeter ID, the new tires are going to get installed on Duke wheels. So this is a 26.5 millimeter ID. This is the rear rim. I have the Duke wheel set quick checkup on my channel. That's in the 25 to 30 millimeter range specified by Maxxis on their packaging. But apparently Nino's running these 2.4s on 30 millimeter rims. And when the weather is nastier, as in muddy or rainy, he uses 25 millimeter ID rims with 225 tires. So I had this inflated to about 45 psi's for 4 or 5 days, and here they are side by side, ASPEN, Rekon Race 2.4 and Rekon Race 235. And right off the bat you can see the 2.4, this seems to be bigger than the 235 and the ASPEN 2.4. After a couple of summers of riding, you can see the wear here on the 235, which is not too bad. This was used as a rear tire. Obviously the new 2.4 has exactly the same thread pattern. You have the same alternated rows of center knobs, and you have these cornering knobs that are similar to something like the more aggressive tires, like the L-shaped ones of DHF or DHR2. Intermediate knobs here in between, so you don't have that aggressive channel for cornering aggressively. This is more of a rounder profile tire, as you see in this view. Aspen also gives us a nice round profile, but you can see that channel here, cornering channel between these cornering knobs and the intermediates. Aspen seems to be using shorter knobs as well. So here on the rolling side, you have slightly under 2mm knobbies, all of these, and the corner ones are 3.4, 3.3mm tall. If you look at the Rekon Race, these are like 0.5 millimeter longer everywhere. So here's 2.2, 2.3mm tall, and then the cornering knobs you're going to have about 3.8 or close to 4mm tall. Now at 25 psi's, the widest part of this Rekon Race is the cornering knobs, and you can see it almost 63mm, which is 2.47 inches. So that's a pretty nice big tire for a 2.4. Height of this tire is right at 50mm. This is 77, but my rim is 17mm tall. What I can also say is that this Rekon Race 2.4, it's a bigger volume tire than the 235. We're talking about 3mm more height and width for the 2.4. But let's take a look at the Aspen and see how that compares. Cornering knobs are sticking out a tiny bit compared to the casing. We're talking a bit over 60mm, so 238, very close to the 2.4 specified. As for the height of this tire is right under 76mm with 60mm rim. So again, about 50mm tall tire. And that means big volume tires that can be run at low pressure for maximum grip. I know Nino's running these at 16 front, 17 rear PSIs, of course. And now that you've seen the sizing, you probably understand why Maxxis has the warning on their packaging talking about clearance. Maxxis recommends 6mm here on the 6 stays, chain stays, seat tube, and down by the bottom bracket. Check that table that was provided by Maxxis when launching the product. You can't find this on the Maxxis website for some reason. I only have really limited experience with the Aspen 225 as a rear, but I did run the Rekon Race mostly as a trail tire, not race tire, in the back of my bikes. I've always used it with a beefier front. You can see a dissector here that I'm gonna take a closer look in the next weeks and months. I know the cross-country races have restarted again. A lot of those racers running Aspen up front and in the rear. I've never really had the balls to have such a bold tire up front of my bikes, but I would be curious to hear if you guys used either the Aspen or the Rekon Race for racing, whether they are front and rear. That would be an interesting discussion to have. So semi-slick, high volume tires from Maxxis. That's definitely not what they're known for, but it's a market that they want to play in. And who knows, maybe I'm even going to try this Aspen 2.4 at the front of my bike this summer. And that's quite a bit of information for one video. I hope you guys found it useful. And if you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. And until next time, hope to see you on the trails. Why not running some Maxxis rubber? Cheers, guys. Cheers.